Okay, a bit of a quicker practice today, and it's going to be fairly non-stop. We're just going to go on through, move our bodies, breathe. Should never stop breathing, really, anyway. And it is going to be perhaps a little bit more on the intense side. So I'm not recommending this for beginners. Plenty of other ones to choose from. You don't need anything other than a space to work in, and we are going to start by standing. So, standing in the middle of your mat, taking a wide stance, and let's just start with some energizing breaths. So, breathing in and out. In, make lots of noise. Out. Again, in and out. And then we're going to hold down in the squat there. Lift up on the pelvic floor, and let's bring our hands together at the chest in a prayer position. Keep those shoulders down, face relaxed. A little bit more of your weight going into your heels here. Engage the core, just hold it here, waking up the body. And then breathing in, straighten the legs. Breathing out, coming down again and holding a bit lower than before. Holding it here. And then we're coming into stretch on one leg, so flex that straightened leg. Keeping the body nice and tall. And coming over to the other side. Keeping steady. Really straight, lift up on that straightened leg kneecap. And other side again. And then back to center, back to the squat, staying down. And then lifting up one heel. Coming down a bit more perhaps. And then swapping. And then seeing if you can lift up both. Find something to focus on to help you balance. Holding it here. And then breathing in, straightening the legs, straightening the arms up. And then breathing out, coming straight down into warrior two, turning that foot in, heel in line with the arch of the turned in foot, shoulders down, look out over the fingertips. And just hold it here. Few breaths. Engage the core. You can come down lower if you want to. Steady. Even breaths. And then drop the back hand, look up, stretch. And then come back as you breathe out into warrior two. Breathing in, reach, lean. Bring the arm down, reaching over. Making a long line with the body, arm to leg. Tip of the fingers to the toes. Imagine that length increasing. Long, long, long. Keep lifting up on the pelvic floor. And breathing out, bring that arm down and the other hand coming down to the mat. And then straightening that arm, looking up to the fingers. Holding it here, drawing the belly button back. And breathing out, pushing up. And then you can come into a bind. You can either just come back and rest the arm back on the leg here, or you can bind the hands together, reaching through, looking up. And then breathing out, straightening the leg, coming back into that stretch. And then coming to do that on the other side. So first of all, coming into warrior two, just a straightforward warrior two. Breathing in, reaching up, breathing out, straighten, look out over the fingertips. Come down a bit lower if you want to. Engage the core. Face relaxed. Long breaths out. Keep those shoulders down. Chin slightly tucked. And then dropping that back hand, reaching up, stretch. And then bringing the arm down, coming back into warrior two, then breathing in, reaching, and then coming to the long line of the body there. Straight, long lines. Lift up on that kneecap. Pelvic floor engaged. Belly button back. And then bringing the arm down, hand to mat, looking up. Keep working with those nice long out breaths. Drawing the belly button back as you breathe out. Next out breath coming up, and so you can either rest the hand there and just work to open the chest, or you can come into the bind, so bringing the hands together. Oop, she says, not finding her other hand, and looking up. And then breathing out, coming back up to that stretch. Then back to center for some breaths in and out and in and out and in and out. Bringing my feet to hip distance apart now. Hips facing forwards, shoulders down, put my hands on my hips. I'm just going to take some steps back, kicking the cabinet. So just taking steps back so the back leg is straight. Breathing in as we come up and out as we're down. Keeping those hips facing forwards. And then going to stand, or come to a standstill with the leg behind, up on the toes, coming down, back leg is really straight. Keeping it steady and then breathing in. Arms coming up and then looking up. Just holding it here. Coming into a slight back bend. And then breathing out, hands coming down, hands back on hips. Come back into the dynamic movement. Stepping back. In, out, in, out. And then since it's time, holding it on the other side. And coming down nice and low. And then arms coming up, looking up. So the hands, shoulders are down, coming into a slight back bend as well. Breathing out, coming back to center. Bringing my feet together now. I'm going to come back onto my mat. Feet together. Shoulders down, breathing in, bringing the hands up together, and then breathing out, bringing them down to the heart as I come into a chair. So coming to that seated position, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Seated position, just holding it here. And then breathing out, turning to the side, slight twist. Holding it here, drawing that belly button back. And then breathing out, other side. And then back to center. And then dropping the hands, straightening the legs, but then coming down just to hang, head hanging, knees are straight, hips going up to sky. And then holding on to the elbows, just let the head flop here. Maybe rock it side to side. And then bringing the hands out in front, spread out the fingers, and then jump back into a plank. Keep looking down to the floor. Lift up on the pelvic floor, draw the belly button back, really engage the core. I've got ever such a slight bend in my elbows here. Just holding it here. And then breathing out, lifting up the hips, coming into a downward dog. So I'm looking towards the knees, encouraging my feet down towards the mat. Really letting the head hang here. Imagining the chest space opening. Steady breaths. And then bending at the elbows, coming down slowly, and then coming up into an upward dog. And then lifting the hips, breathing out, back into a downward dog. Now if that's too intense, do that with the knees down. And so you're dipping the elbows, coming through and up, and then breathing out back into downward dog. So bending the elbows, so they're not coming out to the side, they're coming back towards my body, coming down with control, and then up to upward dog, lifting the hips, downward dog. So we're moving in a wave-like motion. Take a look to see what I'm doing with my head here, leading with the head. Head comes up last, and then holding that in the downward dog. Just holding it here, spreading out the fingers, and coming up onto my tippy toes, and then down again, really encouraging those hips up to the sky, length in the back, tailbone up to sky. And then breathing out, stepping the right foot between the hands into a forward lunge or low lunge, and then bring the hands together, coming into, get my fringe out my face, coming into a twist, holding it here, straightening. I'm always letting my knee dip, straightening that back knee. Few breaths here. And then coming into a plank, looking down, holding it here. Few steady breaths. Really drawing the abs, belly button up, back. Breathing out, left foot coming forward between the hands, hands together at the heart and coming into that twist. Straightening that back leg. Holding it here. Next out breath, coming back into the plank. Just holding that here again. Couple of breaths. And then dropping the knees, pushing back into child's pose. With my hands along the body, forehead to mat. Big breaths into the belly. Belly inflating like a balloon. Encouraging any tension in the back to ease away. Just a few moments of stillness. And then breathing out, coming up onto all fours, fingers spread out, knees under the hips, gazing down to the mat. And then breathing out, coming into cat. Spine curling up, breathing in, coming into cow, slight gaze forward, lifting the tailbone, breathing out, back into cat, breathing in, back into cow, and then we're going to do that on our toes, so lifting up the knees, coming onto the toes, breathing out to cat, breathing in, cow, breathing out, cat, breathing in, cow, one more, cat, breathing in, cow, and then pushing back to child's pose, but arms out long this time. Full breaths again. And then coming onto your side. So we're going to have, coming into a side plank, elongate the bottom leg, top foot I should say, stacks on top. Using this hand to push you up, lifting the hips. Hips are stacked. Breathing in, reaching up. Draw the belly button back. Keep the legs straight. Slight flex in the feet. Reaching out with the fingertips. Chest open. And if you want to as well, lifting up that top leg. Bringing the leg down, bringing the hand down, bringing the hips down, coming into a stretch. And then coming to do that on the other side. So front hand supporting, feet stacking, hips stacked, pushing up, arm coming up, lifting up on the pelvic floor, belly button back. Then if you want to as well, lifting up the top leg. And then bringing it down if I'm wobbly. And then bringing the hand down, hip down, coming into that stretch. And then bringing the feet out in front and together, soles of the feet together. Hold on to the toes, draw the knees down. Lean forwards a little bit. Keep encouraging those knees to come down. Even more. And then straighten out the legs wide, flex the feet, hands are behind, lift the chest. Flex feet, lift chest, feeling of length. Holding that there. And then bring the feet together. Fingers facing forwards but coming behind you. Breathing in, lift the hips. Keep lifting, 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 and then drop the head. Keep lifting the hips. And then from here, staying up, come into a tabletop position. So keep lifting the hips. And then breathing out, straighten one leg. But try and keep those hips as even, as parallel with the floor as possible. And then swap legs. And again, swap one more time. And then bring the hips down, roll yourself down, hug the knees, rock side to side. And then straightening one leg up high, holding the back of the thigh there, and then straightening out the other leg long, parallel to the floor, almost not quite touching the floor. Lifting up the head, keep those shoulders down, engage the core, and then swap or scissor the legs. Keeping the legs straight, control with the core. Keep going. Keeping those shoulders down, face relaxed. And then keeping both legs up, bring the head back down to the mat, flex the feet, push up. Bring the arms out to the side, palms up. And just stay here, pushing up with the feet, palms up. So soles facing the sky, palms facing the sky, pushing up. Core engaged. And then turn the hands down. And then breathing out to widen. In, close. Keep opening, closing. Legs are straight. Try and make sure the feet are moving at the same pace. Moving with control. Steady breaths. And then drawing the knees in again, have a hug, rock side to side. And then as you breathe out, lifting the head, coming up, straightening the legs, shoulders down, coming into boat pose. Really engaging the core, finding something to focus on to help keep you steady. And then bring the feet down, sitting up, then hug. Just ease out any tension in the back, encourage it to ease out, maybe just rock side to side, little massage. And sitting bones there. And then sitting up tall, feet are now hip distance apart, gazing forwards. Bringing the arms out in front of you, palms facing one another. Mine were facing down, facing one another. Then breathing out, coming down, opening up one side. In, out. In, out. Breathing in, breathing out, opening one side. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. This time lifting the feet up. And as we breathe in, we open both arms to the side. Breathing out, breathing in, 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 breathing out. Last one on each side, breathing in, and then drawing the knees, rolling down, then rocking side to side. Now from here we'll come into a twist, so bringing the feet down to the mat and then bringing the knees together, dropping them over to the left side, left hand comes on top of right thigh, right arm coming out, look out over the fingertips, making a zigzag shape with your body. Encourage both shoulder blades to stay on the floor. Full long breaths out, steady breaths in. Relax the face. Holding it here. Breathing out, lifting the knees. Take a breath. Next out breath, do that on the other side. Hand on top of the thigh, looking out the other way. Towards the other hand, keep those shoulder blades on the floor. A few breaths here. Then breathing out, keep staying lying on your side and then push yourself up. We're coming into a low squat. Bring the hands together at the heart. Couple of breaths here. Shoulders are down, gazing slightly down. And then from here we can come into an arm balance, so spread out the fingers. Gaze just, let's say 30 centimetres in front of the hands, lifting up the hips, and then you can lift up one foot and then the other foot. Keep your gaze on something steady. And then coming back down when you feel ready, or when you have to. Hands back together at the heart. And then breathing in, up we come. Reaching up, breathing out, breathing in. Then breathing out, coming all the way back down. Breathing in, coming up. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out, coming back down again. Breathing in. Coming up, and we're staying up this time. And then bring your weight onto your left foot. Just let it hover here, maybe a few circles one way with a hovering foot, and the other way. And then coming into a tree pose, whichever tree pose you feel comfortable with today. So you might just have your foot down here, you might bring your foot all the way up to the inner thigh there, bring the shoulders down, breathing in, hands together, keep the shoulders down. Find a point of focus. If you're feeling like it's the right thing to do today, you can try closing your eyes. Picture something in your mind to help keep you steady. Breathing out, bring those arms down, foot down, shake it out a little perhaps, shake the other one out a little perhaps. Bring the weight onto the other foot, those little circles, one way. Sorry, I had an itchy nose then, I wasn't picking it. The other way. And then coming into your preferred tree and coming up. Breathing in, hands together, point of focus or eyes closed, and picture something in your mind, something nice and steady, or the face of someone you're close to or want to be close to. And then breathing out, bringing the hands, the foot down, shake out the legs. Let's bring the feet together, breathing in, bringing the hands together and then coming over as though we're between two sheets of glass. So we're not leaning forwards or backwards. And other side. Back to centre, then a reach up the kneecaps, lift up on the pelvic floor, look up to the thumbs, reach everything up, 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 up. And then breath out, let it all go, roll the shoulders, shake out the legs a little bit, come down to sitting. An easy seat, whatever sitting position is comfortable for you. Long breath out, in through the nose, long breath out through the mouth, in through the nose, long breath out through the mouth. And then just allow your breath to settle. Just allow your breath just to come and go as it pleases. Encourage your belly to be soft and loose. Invite the breath to come right down, 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 down into the soft, loose belly. Keep encouraging those shoulders to loosen, to soften, to hang. Just allow the earth to hold your weight. See if you can notice anywhere where you're just clenching or clinging on. See if you can encourage that to soften, to ease off. Allow the jaw to soften, the brow. You can just stay here for as long as you want to. Enjoying a bit of quiet. Just experimenting with allowing your internal noise and chatter to chit-chat away just as it wishes, without any judgment. from me.